How can we have it all as an entrepreneur? Not sacrificing certain areas in our life, but still be able to grow and scale like never ever before and achieve our dream life. That's what we are going to cover in our episode today. Welcome to Freedom Entrepreneurship, where we are answering one question. How can I have it all, growth and freedom? Or if I'm lacking freedom at the moment, how can I regain freedom as an entrepreneur? My name is Stephan Poschik. Let's get started. In last week's episode, we talked about the concept I call the life wheel. And today I want to remind a little bit about the life wheel and especially tell you exactly how you can make sure your life wheel is round, how you can make sure you really have it all and you can achieve all the things you deserve and you want to have in life. That's what we are going to cover in the next couple of minutes. So let's do a short recap before I tell you exactly how you can work with the life wheel. So the concept is you are basically selecting 8 areas which are covering your whole life. And the 8 areas I personally selected are the areas of finances, learning, so my education, my personality, health, social, my relationship with my significant other, my son, and my business. So these are the 8 areas. And in our last episode, we covered on how you identify these 8 areas and how you can make sure that you really have the right 8 areas in place. And also in our last episode at the end, I gave you a short example or exercise where you should rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 in every single area. So 1 means this area is extremely bad and very weak. 10 means it's perfect. It's absolutely like you want to have it and like it should be and like you want to keep it going in the future. So now we have our life wheel in front of us and we have our numbers from 1 to 10. So now the question is, okay, how can we start to really develop it? How can we make sure that we do not have a lot of sacrifices? And when you are like myself, or when you are like most business owners, your life will not be a 10 and a 9 and a 9 and a 10 and a 8 and a 10 and a 10 and a 10. So most likely your life will look more like, a 1, a 7, a 3, a 8, a 2, a 10, a 5. Okay? So probably it will look very not round. Let's call it that way. And you will identify areas where you are very good, where you are already very evolved, where you are very happy with the situation, how the situation is already. But then you probably will also identify areas that are very weak or just a pain in the ass at the moment. And now the question is, how can we work with all these different areas? So the first thing is an exercise. The exercise will take a little bit, but why is this important? Because this is actually bringing you into the position and into the situation that you finally, realistically can have it all at a certain point in the future. Because in our last episode, I also discussed why so many entrepreneurs just sacrifice every other area and they just focus on the business or they just focus on the finances, but everything else is in a very bad situation. So this concept of the life wheel is something which is ongoing and what you should do over and over and over and over again. So what is the exercise? The exercise is in every single area of these 8 segments. The first thing is you are writing down where you are at the moment. So what is the situation? Don't sugarcoat it. Don't make it better than it is. Also don't make it worse than it really is. But sit down, take a notepad, take a success book, take something where you can write. You can also use your computer, however you want to do it, but write down where are you at the moment in this area. Where are you? The next thing is, what are your values in this area? So now you probably ask, hey, Stephan, why values? Why do I need values in my health? Why do I need values in my education? You know what? Because values are just things that are extremely important for yourself in this area. And values should also be what I call non-negotiables in your life. So let me give you an example. A value for myself in the area of health is being healthy, staying healthy, eating healthy, drinking 3 liters of water, doing my exercise, going mountain biking at least 2 or 3 times a week, doing my weightlifting or doing personal training, body weight training at least 1 or 2 times. These are things that are just very, very important for myself. And I have certain values. What is a value in this area? Consistency, discipline. Okay? So these are just values in the area of health for myself. So now it's your turn. Write down your personal values in the different areas of your life wheel. The next thing is, okay, where do I want to be in the future in this area? Where do I want to be in 1 year, in 3 years, and in 10 years? How does my life look like in 1 year, in 3 years, and in 5 years? And specifically in this area, that's the important thing. So you are not thinking about, okay, in general, let's see, in 10 years, how could my life look like? No, you're getting very specific. So you're taking one area of your life wheel and you're thinking, okay, my finances. You already wrote down where are you at the moment. Then you already wrote down your values. And now you write down, okay, financially, where do I want to be in 1 year, in 3 years, and in 5 years? And this 1 year, 3 year, and 5 years is your goal in this area. Where do you want to be in 1, 3, and 5 years? Okay? Wonderful. Now, the next thing is coming your way. What is the next thing? You write down what could go wrong, what can I mess up that I not be there in 1, 3, or 10 years. Okay? You basically reverse it and you think about what would happen or what need to happen or what could I personally sabotage that I do not accomplish my goal in 1 year, in 3 years, or in 10 years from now. Because now what you are doing is you are basically risk reversing your goal achievement. Because a lot of people are setting goals, but very few people are thinking about, okay, how can I mitigate the risk that I do not achieve this goal? They always think about, okay, perfect scenario, everything is going right, everybody is going to buy my stuff, everybody is going to say yes, every hire is going to work out, every strategy is going to work out, every business launch is going to be perfect, and this is how people are going to set their goals. Yes, and then life is going to come your way, and you figure out, oh shit, it's probably not exactly like you wanted to have. Here is the thing. When you set your goals and then you think about, okay, what can go wrong? What would need to go wrong that I cannot achieve this goal in 1 year, 3 years, or 10 years from now? Then you can make sure that you mitigate these risks and that you can make sure that these issues or these risks don't even come your way. Okay? That's the idea behind it. And now, step number 5, what are your to-dos? And in what priority do you execute? So your to-dos should be very easy in the meantime, because you already wrote down where you are in this area. Then you wrote down what are your values, what is most important for you. Then you wrote down what are your goals, where do you want to go. Now you wrote down what can go wrong. And the last thing is, okay, what are your to-dos? So what are the things you need to do to make sure that this risk is not going to come your way, that you cannot achieve your goals? What do you need to do to achieve your goal in 1 year? What do you need to do to achieve your goal in 3 years, to achieve your goal in 10 years? Okay? So now you write down your to-dos. And then when you have your to-dos, that's basically the second part of it, you give yourself a priority. And I use a very simple prioritization like ABC. A is important and urgent, B is important but not urgent, and C is the rest. Okay? So A are the things you need to start right now, or you need to schedule into your daily working hours, or into your free time, or into wherever you are basically organizing yourself. Okay? Good. So now we have a lot of information in all these 8 areas. This takes some time, but you know what? It's worth it, and it's the number 1 way to really get it all. Because otherwise, you always will run into a situation that one of the 8 areas are going to be sacrificed. One of the areas in your life are going to fall behind. One of the 8 areas in your life are going to hold you back. One of the 8 areas are probably such a pain in the ass that you cannot enjoy the other areas. Yeah? Okay. And we still have the life wheel, where you have a lot of different areas. So now let's look at the areas where you have a very high score, where you probably have an 8 or more. Why is this important? Because these are areas you most likely can get a lot of positive energy out, a lot of positive emotions, probably a lot of joy, a lot of energy, a lot of power, a lot of life motivation. Okay? Whatever these areas are. But here you have something, and you identified something where you can tap into resources. It's literally like you plug yourself into an energy station, like you charge yourself, like you have an area here in your life where you can get a lot of energy out of it, where you can recharge, where you can basically help yourself. Now you will also have areas where you probably are at a very, very low score, where you are probably at the 1 or 2 or a 3, or where you are very, very bad at the moment. Okay, here is the question. Can you focus on, let's say, 3 or 5 areas at the same time, with the same effort, with the same energy, with the same focus, when, for example, you are in a hard situation, a hard period of your life and your business? No, you can't. You are just one person. You are just one human being. Like myself, I would love to be a superhero. I would love to be an alien with unlimited energy. I would love to be able to not sleep, that I have more time available. I'm working on it, but so far I'm still a human and I just have certain limitations. So I need to be careful where I invest my energy and how much energy I can deploy on a daily basis before I need to recharge, before I need to recover again, before I need to have sleep again. Okay, so let's talk about these areas that are very underdeveloped at the moment. And that's also very important. You heard me mention it at the moment. Because if something is shit at the moment, it's at the moment. It does not mean that it will be the same in a year from now, in 3 years from now, in 10 years from now, for the rest of your life. It's just at the moment. And then we can do something against it. So when you have multiple areas that are very weak, then start to focus on the areas where it is the easiest and fastest way to make an improvement. Why? Why not focus on the hardest thing and that takes the longest time? Again, when you have so many areas that are very, very weak, you cannot get all of them into the right direction at the same time. It's just unfortunately not possible. But you probably can increase certain things with so-called fast wins. And when you have, let's say you have 3 or 5 areas that are very weak, and then over the next 4 weeks, you focus on 1 or 2 areas, and they suddenly increase from a 2 to a 3 to a 5, maybe to a 6. What do you have? You have accomplished great things, you have great wins, you made great progress, and this is going to give you much more energy, much more power, much more focus to focus on the hardest things you need to do anyway. Okay? Good. Now, that's what you can do. Then you probably just have 1 or 2 areas left that are very weak. And then go into one thing again and focus on this one thing only over the next 4 weeks. And here is the interesting thing and the important thing too. I said 4 weeks. I did not say the rest of your life. I did not say for the next couple of years. I did not say for an unlimited amount of time till XYZ is accomplished. And why is this important? This is important because we cannot focus on all the 8 areas at the same time with the same effort. It's just not possible. So we will have phases as an entrepreneur where we need to focus on one of these areas or maybe 2 of these areas more than we can focus on other areas. Because let's say you are in a very bad financial situation and your business is not going great. Then you need to focus on these 2 areas to make sure that you figure this out and you have your finances in place again and your business is running the right way. And during this time, when it is a couple of weeks or probably a couple of months, you probably do not have so much time for education or for your social areas. And you know what? That's okay. Let me say this again. That's okay. What society though is telling us is, oh my God, you need to have work-life balance. Oh my God, you need to have more, you need to lower your stress, you need to work less, you need to calm down, you need to, oh my God, where is your life balance? You know what? I hate the word life balance. Because what does it mean in the first place anyway? When I work, I do not have life. Or when I live, I cannot work because the balance is somehow messed up. That's such a made up bullshit phrase and word. Still, all the world is talking about life balance, life balance, life balance. Everything needs to be balanced. Okay, I'll give you an example from a typical day of myself or from a typical day from the past. Okay, I got up in the morning, I had my plans, I had my morning routine, I was pumped for the day, and then the day started. I had the first meeting, went well, I had another meeting, completely was messed up. I had a couple of phone calls, completely unexpected things. I started to troubleshoot, then I had a short lunch break. Then in the afternoon, I needed to juggle all these troubles that came up in the morning. I had a bunch of other meetings, and on and on and on and on. And then probably you already have 10 or 12 or probably 14 hours because you could not stop because you needed to get the troubleshooting in order. And then what life balance and society is telling us, you as an entrepreneur, now you need to come home and now you need to be the perfect husband. You need to be the perfect partner. You need to be romantic. You need to listen. You need to be there. You need to be present. Everything needs to be perfect. Oh, by the way, you also have kids. Oh, you need to be the perfect dad now. You need to play with them. You need to be aware. Everything needs to be perfect on the same day. Oh shit, I forgot. I also have health in my life wheel. Oh, I need to do my training. I need to work and I need to drink and I need to exercise. I need to cook healthy. Oh, my significant other, my parents or our friends came over in the evening. Now I need to be the perfect friend. So you see the issue? When you try to put all this into one day or into a short period of time, you will always fail. So stop the bullshit. Stop trying to have all your life areas in balance at the same time. It's not possible. And everybody who is trying to tell us, you need to have this, you need to have this life balance, you need to have this work-life balance on a daily basis, tell them to shut up and just go away. Okay? How do I do it? Now, we will have areas where we need to focus a couple of weeks or a couple of months on one or two areas much more than on the others. But then when we solved this issue or when we have this area in a much better place, we cannot forget that we have other areas in our life. And if I need to focus massively on my business, if I need to work 7 days a week, if I need to work 14 hours a day, maybe over 3 or 6 months in a row, because I need to figure an issue out or I need to get my cash flow right, I will not have so much time for my family, for my friends, for my significant other, and probably also not so much time for training or for exercise or for my hobbies. But after these 3 to 6 months, I need to catch up. So now my other areas in life need to have more focus and a higher priority for the next couple of weeks and months. Then I can basically catch up with my relationship again. Then I can catch up with my friends and family again. Then I can catch up with whatever things are important or with interest or with hobby or with free time again. And this is the only way on how you can achieve freedom in your whole life. This is the only way on how we can have it all, because we can have it all in our life. We cannot have it all, everything at the same time and in the same amount. And that's the big difference. Here you go. That's your recipe on how you can have it all. And that's a recipe on how you can work with what I call the concept of the life wheel. And I'm doing this literally since 20 plus years. Every single year, multiple times, I'm really drawing my life wheel. I'm making my numbers from 1 to 10, and I'm basically keeping track on how my areas are developing. What areas are up, what areas are down, where do I focus, and how I basically make sure I'm going to have it all. This is exactly what I wish you, how to have it all. I wish you a lot of success in all your areas of life. Thanks for now. See you soon.